So a question that I have been asked quite often, and then most recently from my hat video, is how to actually keep a hat on your head. And I touched on it a little bit in my last video, but I really want to focus on it on this one. There's a couple of traditional ways to do it and then some non-traditional ways. So one of the more traditional ways is to use a hat pin. And I highly suggest getting a couple of different sizes, different lengths of hat pins if you're going to go that route. I have a few of these really long hat pins, and then I have a couple of shorter hat pins here. And they really do work differently, and you can mix and match them. You can use two of them on the same hat if you wish, but it's really helpful to have different lengths depending on the size of the hat and where you actually need to place the hat pin. And honestly, hat pins are just a really wonderful way to add a little bit more flair to the hat itself. I have these beautiful Art Deco hat pins, and these are unique because they twist off and then you just slide it back on and twist it on. So it makes them really secure. The other option is sometimes you can find hat pins that still have the stopper on them. And this is just a little gold piece, usually gold, and then it has a rubber inside, and that just sticks right on, and that way you don't have the pin sticking out and the possibility of actually sticking your fingers or your hand. I believe that you can buy these little stoppers in bulk on eBay or even on Amazon maybe, but I always feel really lucky when I can find a hat pin that still has the stopper on it. So the way to use your hat pin is go ahead and place your hat where you would like it. And I find that, especially if it's on a tilt like this, I like to secure the part that's going up, because this is the chances of the wind hitting this and kind of flopping it over is going to be pretty high. So I like to try and secure it right here. And basically you just pierce the hat with the hat pin, and then I like to do a motion of weaving the hat pin in and out of my hair. Gives it a little bit more security, and then you're going to go ahead and poke the hat pin back through the hat. And if you have the stopper, you go ahead and secure it at the end. Another traditional way is to use the attached elastic on the hat. Not all hats have them, and of course if you're buying vintage hats, sometimes the elastic is not so great anymore. But you can absolutely attach your own elastic to the hat band. It's quite easy to do. So with the elastic, it's very simple. Again, place your hat where you want it, and then you want to tuck your hair. You want to tuck it under your hair. And you really want that band to sit right here behind the ears. That's going to give you the most security. Now granted, there's still some movement here, and you can still use a hat pin to really make that secure. Especially if you want it to sit in a very specific place, you can just pop a hat pin in there. But this really does help to minimize movement, and if a gust of wind happens to come up, it does really help to secure the hat. And my preferred way of securing a hat is to sew in hair combs into the band. And especially if you're using the grip tooth hair combs, these suckers are going to stay in your hair very, very well. So what I suggest doing is actually just put the hat on and see really how you're going to wear it most likely. So this hat, I like to sit a little bit farther back on my head. So I wanted to make sure that the security was right here on the front part of my head. So I put the hair comb right there so I can just set it in and then push it back and it's nice and secure. So even if some wind was to gust up, I feel very secure with this. Now I could absolutely put another one back here just to make sure that it is completely on my head, but I have always felt very secure with just this one. I do have other hats that I have put 2 combs in. So again, one on the front and one on the back. And that's just mostly because of the type of hat this is. It, you know, it sets right here and it doesn't actually go over the rest of my head. So there isn't a lot of security there. So putting that in the front and then in the back where I can just slide that down and take this front section and slide it right in. And that feels very secure to me. Another kind of DIY option, and again, this is very specific to the hat, and I have a hat that already has this, this option in it. I've showed it to you on my last video, is to actually secure maybe a ribbon or just a piece of fabric that you can tie under your neck. Just like this. Now, not every hat is going to look good with some sort of ribbon. It's going to be more like a bonnet, but this is really nice and secure, and I think it's kind of cute. Now, as I mentioned in my other hat video, it's really important to know what your hat size is. So all you have to do is measure your head. So get yourself a tape measure, and I like to make sure that your hair is down so you can get the actual measurement, but you're just going to take it around right here, and you don't want to squish it too much because your hair is going to play a factor, and just figure out what your size is. So that is 22 inches about, yep. So my hat size is 22. And so I know that if anything is going to go under that, sometimes I can get away with a 21.5, depending on the type of hat that it is. If it's going to come all the way down across my forehead, 21.5 is going to be snug, and it could potentially give me a headache throughout the day. So it's just good to know what your hat size is so you can gauge whether or not it's going to fit properly, fit comfortably for you. Well, I hope this helps you to feel a little bit more comfortable and confident and wear your hats more often. I know how uncomfortable it can be. You're really worried about your hat flying off your head. But use these techniques. Hopefully they work for you. If you have different ways that you secure your hat, I would love to know what they are. Please leave a message in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. Thanks so much. We'll see you soon. Bye.